My name is Bryan. I'm the service head for pupil services and place planning in the local authority, and my key responsibilities are ensuring that there is sufficiency of school places in the borough, and also putting in place the arrangements for children to access those places. We were doing a particular piece of work around school place planning in relation to children with SEND. We know that it's very difficult to plan for pupils with SEND because there are a number of factors that make that a challenge, and we were concerned to work with an organisation that would help us deal with the various factors that we would need to consider in identifying the demand for that provision, such as the increases in our total population, the prevalence of SEND within our community, the complexity of need, and also the recent government reforms in relation to the extended age of provision for children with SEND. The problem we solve is a complex one for local authorities. It's about how we project demand. But in the case of this particular area, it wasn't demand for general school place provision. It was demand for children with special educational needs. And indeed, it's quite a difficult area because you're trying to, as I said earlier, you're trying to determine what proportion of your school population will have special educational needs. You're trying to determine what proportion of your population will require specialist support over and above what the school would normally provide. You're trying to understand whether there will be, what proportion of those children will have needs that are so complex that they can't be met within a normal mainstream school setting, and would therefore require specialist facility, specialist provision, which is invariably more expensive than and you're also trying to consider what the implications of those proportions will be on your resources, your funding going forward. So for us, we felt that we wanted a much more intelligent solution than the solutions that we had used or had been presented to us previously. We wanted someone who had very good understanding of data and being able to analyse that sufficiently to give us the confidence to make what we felt would be informed decisions based on a proper understanding and analysis of that data. The other issue we had is that we were aware that there have been recent reforms to special education, particularly extending the age of children and young adults who would need access to that provision. And we wanted, again, a method to be able to project the demand for those children. And we also wanted a way of making sure that we were carrying forward sufficient resource for those children and adults so that they could continue to progress in not just their education, but also in terms of their future contribution to society. Because the biggest issue for us for children with SEND, when they become young adults, is that the services tend to stop for them at a particular point, and obviously that makes life very difficult. Many of those young adults become somewhat socially excluded, and we felt we feel a moral responsibility for ensuring that they have good access, continued access to high quality provision beyond their standard education. We want to ensure that there is an opportunity for children, when they become young adults, to continue to access high quality provision. We do not want to see them on a carousel of provision within a local college, for example. We want to see them with proper opportunities to enter employment and progress in their careers and their lives through those opportunities, apprenticeships, internships, etc. So we really wanted to understand our data from the point of view of what could it tell us? What could it tell us about what is happening now? What could it tell us about what might happen in the future? What could it tell us about what we needed to do to make sure that future met the priorities for the Council in relation to our population, particularly our SEND population? I think for any organisation that works with people who specialise in a technical area, who are data specialists and understand all the technical requirements about that, the biggest concern you have is you don't want to be, for want of a better term, blinded with science. You want people who are going to be able to explain things to you in plain language and make sense of them for you. You want to have confidence that they understand what you're expressing to them and wanting from them, but also that you understand what they're saying to you. And that's really important, to have a very clear understanding in terms of the piece of work you're doing, because it is very complex and we are relying on a very scientific approach, which, you know, isn't easy for someone like me who isn't a technical specialist, isn't a data person to sort of understand the detail of, but get an understanding of the principles and understanding that you're actually clear about what we want and you're explaining to us in a way that we feel we are able to interpret and understand is great. That's what we need. I think one of the important things that we found working with Masters&C is that we've been given assurance about the quality of the systems and services. So we are confident that we're dealing with highly professional people, highly organised people, people who can present information in a clear and concise way and can help us to present our data and its analysis to our organisations, services, other members of our organisation with an interest in this work in a way that they feel it's helpful and supportive and part of a coherent strategic approach. The working relationship with Masters&C has been very productive. It's been very positive. It has allowed us to understand a lot about data in our organisation and how we can make the best use of it. It's allowed us to appreciate the technical expertise that they have that we lack, but together, you know, with the ideas that we can bring to the table together with that technical ability and a very, very robust methodology for analysing the data in the way that we want. It's a relationship that I think has worked very well. The ongoing relationship is that there has been challenge. We have at times said, well, you know, we want things done in a certain way, or we might question why the methodology. But at the same time, the response has been, okay, well, we'll look at that again and we'll try and work our way through that. We respect the fact that when we have events or meetings or the need to engage with you at a certain time and point that you're available to do that. We don't feel, even though it's evident that you deal with a range of organisations doing a number of activities, we don't feel as a local government organisation that we have any less priority than some of the bigger organisations you work with. And we would want that from any provider of a service to us. That wasn't in the specification, but that is an added value to the relationship. It helps the relationship in terms of our confidence in the work we're doing with you, but also our confidence in the potential to work with organisations like yourself in the future.